Good morning. We are at the historical city of Antwerp for the Horasis Global India Business Meet for 2012. And I have with me Dr. Frank Richter, Chairman, Founder of Horasis, Lord Billimoria from the UK, and General Sudhir Sharma from India. And I thought I'll just take a moment to ask the underlying reason that we are so India-centric at this point, whether it is from a perspective of Horasis or perspective of business. So first, the question to you, Dr. Frank Richter. You do this, Horasis, this is the fourth Global India Business Meet, and what were the reasons you thought and why it's becoming so engaging with India, apart from your other business meets that you do? So if you could just share your thoughts on that.
Sure. You know, we are very India bullish, I have to say. I very much believe in India's potential. And I also very much believe that Indian companies now start to engage globally, buying companies in the UK, in Europe, around the world. So we sought to create a platform for Indian entrepreneurs to meet their global counterparts on an annual basis. And I think the meeting is quite successful in providing a platform to do that, to engage in dialogue, and of course making also business connections. Certainly, we hear about the downturn in Europe, the downturn in India, and I think one way to advance is to, let's say, point fingers and just say what is going wrong, but you should also say what is going in the right direction, and on the less good parts to try to improve, and maybe give also recommendations to the government. And we talked about this, Karan, this morning, what it means to do business in India in terms of logistics, for example. There are a lot of areas to improve, infrastructure, and so on. But I think looking ahead is now to invite the global business community to invest more in India, not to invest less, but to invest more in India. And of course, to create the right business environment for investments. Many investors are frightened to do business in India right now because it's all about enforcement. The rule of law is there. India is the largest democracy in the world. But when it comes to daily business, there are still a lot of issues to deal with bureaucracy, for example. Mm-hmm. So I think with this meeting, we can put a positive spin in our deliberations to invite the global business community to invest in India and to engage with India.
Thank you, Frank. Just one very quick question. I think you mentioned something about this whole deliberation about various aspects of business. Do you plan that at the end of the meet that you'll have some sort of a policy paper or executive summary of what was discussed to be submitted to various governments or something of that sort, including India?
We do so, actually. The night, actually tonight, I will start to write the paper.
You're going to have a long night.
A long night, and it's usually what we do is to grasp the main ideas, recommendations. Maybe we can even call it the Antwerp. Exactly, the Antwerp, announcement, and to say, what is the next step, and of course, giving it to Minister Sharma. Minister Sharma now is attending already the third time. He attended and supported the meeting from the beginning, showing the very close partnership between business and government, and we will offer our recommendations to him and the whole administration.
Very good. Thanks a lot, Frank. Lord Karan Billimoria. I've been very intrigued by one thing that you've done, which I think has been a very, very big innovation thing for India, and that is that you probably would be the first enterprise that has chosen at such large scale to engage with the state of Bihar. So people talk of India, going and in a whole lot of stuff, but you picked a state which historically was not on the right side in terms of perception, and you went to that state. So can you share some of your thoughts as to the reasons and if that is the way forward for many states to do something and engage with investors and enterprises?
Yes. Firstly, I'd like to say that I would genuinely like to thank Frank and Horasis for what they're doing. This is my second Horasis conference on India. I was in Naples last year as well. And it is a unique gathering because what we have here is in a different city in Europe each year, different country in Europe each year, bringing India to the fore. And it's wonderful because we are engaging with a particular country. So in this case, we're in Antwerp, which of course has a huge connection with India with the diamond industry. and Belgium. And Belgium, of course, enormous connections with India as well. I mean, for my company, Cobra Beer, we manufacture 2 of our products and have been doing so in Belgium for many years, because in my view, the Belgians are the best brewers in the world. Frank, no disrespect, the Germans are very good brewers, and the Brits are very good brewers, but the Belgians are the best.
Okay.
And we brew King Cobra, our double fermented beer in a champagne bottle here at Rodenbach in Belgium. And we brew our non-alcoholic Cobra beer, Cobra Zero, which is one of the top 2 in the supermarkets in the UK, with Palm Breweries here in Belgium. So we're proud manufacturers in Belgium, and I'm very happy to be here. And of course, this also highlights the huge opportunities between the country, the host country, and India. So Belgium, Antwerp, many people would not have realized before coming to this conference, is the 2nd largest port in Europe. And that is an eye-opener. Mm-hmm. So I think that's wonderful, that what you're doing in bringing a particular European country together with India, but also enabling the who's who of Indian industry to come outside India at a conference like this and quite openly and frankly talking about India's opportunities and challenges. And it's wonderful to have government in India at the highest level represented. And Minister Anand Sharma, who I've known for many years, the Commerce and Industry Minister, is here. N.K. Singh, a member of the upper house in India, the Rajya Sabha, is here. Some of our top industrialists in India, from Sunil Munjal, who I just shared the panel with, to KP Singh of DLF, they're all here. And so you have this ability to engage with India and have the views of India put forward in a unique manner. Mm-hmm. So that's what you're enabling. And to answer your question, what is highlighted today is that a year ago in Naples, I signed a deal with Molson Coors, a joint venture for India. Mm-hmm. And a year later, here we are, having bought a brewery in Bihar, doubled its capacity, upgraded it to international standards with the most modern brewery laboratory in India, all in the space of 1 year, in the most regulated, difficult market you can imagine in India.
And that's the reason I asked that question.
Yes.
That,
And Bihar is a state that 6 or 7 years ago genuinely was the worst performing state in India. It was the basket case of India.
Absolutely.
Today it is the basket of opportunity because of leadership and governance. Nitish Kumar, the Chief Minister, who is probably the most respected Chief Minister in India today.
At this point, yes.
And with his Deputy Chief Minister, Sushil Modi, they have jointly turned the state around. Crime has gone down 6 times in 6 years. It is now, you don't need kidnap insurance anymore.
Absolutely.
You feel safe in Bihar. And we're the first multinational to go there, and hopefully we've paved the way for many more to come. And it shows there an extreme example of India, where the perceptions, unfortunately, this day, people are not doing business with India as much as they should, particularly the small companies. There are so many flights. Belgium is the hub for Jet Airways going to India. The United Kingdom, we have 119 direct flights per week
To India.
between the UK and India. And yet, businesses are not making the most of this. We may be in double-dip recession in the UK and in many parts of Europe in recession. The Eurozone crisis is not going away. It probably is only going to get worse. There's an opportunity in India with all its challenges. That's a long-term opportunity. And the lesson that is coming out of the conference already is a big challenge in India is governance. Everything is there. Wonderful demographic opportunities in terms of young population. Great consumer market that's growing. Enormous growth rates. Even at growth rates we have now, they touched just over 5%, which is alarmist from an India point of view, but from a double-dip recession point of view, it's wonderful. So I am very optimistic about India in the future, and I think we've reached one of the troughs in an upward trajectory, but it's a trough in an upward trajectory.
That's
it's
great.
not a trough below zero.
That's great, and thank you for sharing this, and I'm sure that a lot of other businesses would take example from what you did and step forward. And Horasis has been a force to bring together all of this. And that leads me to the question to General Sharma. You have a unique position coming from the Indian Army, involved with security, involved with clean tech technology. This is your 2nd or 3rd Horasis meet. My first question is, what do you think about these meets of this sort? And do you have any perception on what changes could be done on the other side, from the Indian side, to engage a little bit more positively and accelerate this growth?
Well, thank you. First of all, once again, thanks to Frank. It's brilliant to be at Horasis meetings every year. I was there in Zurich, I was there in Ras Al Khaimah. My first introduction to it was in Ras Al Khaimah. And I was so energized and so enthused by what I saw and what the people I've met. The networking that took place there and people that we met there. It was certainly an open window for me. Being in the armed forces, I had not met the kind of people. And that really made me feel that a lot could be done for it, and therefore I started coming more and Frank has been very kind to invite me to the meetings. It's a wonderful opportunity to share views and put across India in the correct perspective. And coming to the second part of your question, my feeling is that while a lot has been said about governance, and Rod mentioned to it, and even Manjali to it, India, in my feeling, is a democracy which is still evolving. And therefore, to get the consensus, to get the right governance going, must be a tremendous challenge. So I'm just feeling that talking to Mr. N.K. Singh and having known the Prime Minister himself, they're very well thought out people, they know what to do, but very difficult sometimes to take across the kind of system is going on in India. So therefore, in the long term, as you put across, I have a lot of hope for India going through it, but this kind of period where the political parties play a role in creating some kind of environment where this growth becomes slightly slower, but it's better to take India along with it slightly slower than to take it too fast and leave some people behind in terms of growth, and we have turbulence in the country. So I think we're on the right path, and I think we'll go better and better as we go forward, provided we keep on following the path that we're doing. And these kind of meetings really sometimes chart a course and does a course correction and get the correct perspective right. And to that extent, Frank, brilliant place to do that. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you, General Sharma, and I think thank you for giving us the time. It's been a good platform to talk about India, and I know we're going to have a long day. You have a long day to write that policy paper, Frank, for the government of
Can
India.
I make one very quick
Sure.
point? Just following on from the General, I think that the Horasis event is a perfect opportunity in June 2012, when the world is at a very crucial point.
Absolutely.
They keep talking about the clock being 5 minutes to midnight or 1 minute to midnight where the Eurozone is concerned. Well, where India is concerned, the clock is way ahead in terms of opportunity. And I think if we can send a positive message out from here, where in India, at the moment, sadly, all we're hearing is negative messages and policy paralysis. And it's a downward spiral in terms of message. If we can get a message from here to India, yes, we acknowledge the challenges. Yes, we know that good governance is needed and the political area needs to be freed up. And we hope that after the presidential elections, the reforms will go forward. Retail investment will open up. Foreign universities bill will go through. All these things can move forward, and we are optimistic over here, and Europe and Britain are ready to invest.
I think it's the right signal in optimism, and of course we talked about entrepreneurship before. Entrepreneurs are the core of this movement. So thanks for this comment, Karan, and we need more of this optimism in our global entrepreneurial setup.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for your time. Have a great day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.